the first issue was on gender roles and safety in relationships. And so this came from S. Denzi 23.
Question.
Yes.
When you say it came from that person, did it really come from that person? Because you put it in chat GPT, and didn't it change the question or change whatever?
It changed. It took their statement and it made it into a question that we can address.
Oh, okay.
And so the statement
is in the question
that was made by S. D. Dens 23. Shout out to them for commenting. I appreciate the comment. They had a question, comment, or whatever.
Okay.
They weren't too keen on some of the information that we were sharing, and so their issue was on gender roles and safety in relationships. And so the question that ChatGPT offered up for them was, how can women create safety for themselves without eroding their partner's masculinity? And that came from the How to Create a Safe Space for Vulnerability video. So how can women, I'll let you answer this, Bernie. How can women create safety?
I'm not good on the spot, but anyway.
Yes, you are. How can women create safety for themselves without eroding their partner's masculinity? How do you create safety for me, Bernie, without eroding my masculinity?
Your masculinity is so high, there's no way I can erode it, even if I tried. Not that I would want to do that. I like your masculinity. I don't want to erode it. How can women create a safety for themselves without eroding their partner's masculinity? I don't know. That seems like a big thing in today's society because women are a lot of them are so far along, in their careers. They're, being boss ladies, whatever. And then the men are over at that meeting talking about, I got to get myself together.
Right.
So that whole dynamic is out there. But I don't know how you could not erode a man's masculinity, because my question is, was it there in the first place?
Ooh.
Because I don't know a man's man where his masculinity is kind of like eroded, unless he was struggling with, like, they just won't let you do that if there's I don't want to say a real man, but I don't know how to answer that question. Because to me, if you're eroding a man's masculinity, how much was there in the first place? I don't know if that's masculinity, but in my mind, that's what I'm thinking of. What were we talking about?
This came from a clip from our interview with Kevin and Aries.
Oh, and Aries?
Yeah.
You can give me whatever seed form and I got you. It's the trust and vulnerability of giving it over, because he doesn't like to look weak in any type of way. He hasn't gotten over that yet to where I am a safe space for him. He hasn't tested that. No matter what, at first he needed gentleness. Okay, I could do that. Let me be the gentle that you need, right? Let me try that out. Then you need this. Okay, so I am evolving in every way that you need to still let you know that it's safe to come on over here. Kevin still is working on making those steps to where I don't have to say, hey, babe, come on over here, to where he can lean in on this marriage and lean in on his partner.
Okay.
Who can get the job done. I mean, that is one of my best qualities, is to get the job done, So I think it's still that, we're only in year 2. I imagine, we're going to keep growing in that area, and it's going to be better.
I feel like if you have a confident woman and they're giving you, man, information, if you have masculinity as a man, you don't feel offended or eroded by that because you are confident in yourself.
Okay.
Now, maybe another question is how to build this man's how not to shoot down his confidence, whatever, because I don't know how you erode masculinity in a man when it's there. If it's not there, there's something else going on.
That's a good point. I think that the question about gender role and safety, a lot of times what I have seen is that the expectations about gender roles are put on a couple, and they are trying to live up to live up to gender roles that they don't know how to execute. So they will struggle with trying to live out their version of what those gender roles look like. That's one example. What's one thing that I've seen. Another thing that I've seen is when couples or when an individual has a gender role idea, but it's not their role is not in consideration of who they're married to. So they may be trying to pull out a gender to execute a gender role that they think they should be doing, but they are ignoring their partner's value in that situation. For example, if you have somebody that is a very highly capable person, that a woman who is a very highly capable person and she has a lot of value to offer in the relationship, and the husband is not taking that into consideration, or is devaluing that, or is overemphasizing his masculine posture because he feels intimidated of her competency, then that is a devaluing situation. So I think the question about how you erode a partner's masculinity, I think your point is very well taken, in that it's hard to erode a man's masculinity if it's there.
Yeah.
However, I have seen women who emasculate men by asserting their will preference by using the power tool of emotion. They will pour on the emotions, use tears, use fussing, cussing, yelling, screaming, anger, throwing things, violence sometimes, to over emote the emotions of a man and take over the atmosphere of the home, or take over the decision making power.
Take control
over that. Yeah. For the house, even in things that the man feels that he should be having responsibility for. When he tries to do that, the woman will emote, yell, scream, fuss.
And then he just get tired.
And then
like,
he just shuts down. So that is a way that women have, in my experience, taken over and eroded a man's masculinity. So a way for a woman not to do that is to not do that. One, a way for a man to shut that down is. So here's how
you give me getting here comes some more red comments, because people ain't gonna agree with what the heck is about to come out of his mouth. It's probably right, but y'all ain't gonna like it. I could just tell it's coming. It's like, here we go in more comments.
Here's what you do. Here's how you do to combat that. You speak very assertively, not aggressively. There's a difference between being assertive and aggressive. You speak very assertively 1 or 2 times, and don't repeat yourself, because your spouse has to learn that I said what I said, and I'm not debating this issue.
Comments. Here they come.
I'm talking about if you feel like your masculinity is being eroded,
the man,
then the way that you combat that is you speak calmly once or twice about the issue, and then you don't debate it any further.
What if she's flailing and hollering and like going off and screaming and throwing things?
Now that's different. You
different. Said that's what some of them be doing.
That's true. But I mean, I'm talking about the eroding of the masculinity part.
Yeah.
The way that you assert your masculinity is by being masculine, and don't debate the masculinity that you're being.
Yeah. But you have to know that it's there within yourself.
Yeah. But even if you don't know it's there, you can do this to prove to yourself that I can be masculine enough to speak once or twice, and that is sufficient. I don't have to go back and forth with you. I'm not debating this with you any further. I've heard what you had to say, and this is what we're going to do, or this is what we're not going to do. And I'm not debating the issue anymore. You will get the feedback. You will get the smoke. But how you handle the smoke from a masculine standpoint is you don't have to be aggressive. You can just be assertive. That's one way of doing it.
I think that when you're talking about gender roles and safety in relationships, when you were first talking about gender roles, I think where people kind of mess up with gender roles, they try to, instead of do the gender roles that work inside their house and in their marriage.
Yeah.
They try to do the society gender roles that they know about. Like, oh no, the man's supposed to do this, the woman's supposed to do this. No, you need to do inside your marriage. Who is good at bills? Who is better at doing this? That is what the gender role should be taking care of in your house. Who is better at doing what? And what works inside your house in your house, as opposed to following all this society stuff, what you think, is supposed to be happening. You got to do what works inside your house.
Exactly.
If you want to see another clip of this episode, click here. If you want to see another video about relationship topics, click here.